Hello, this is tape 3. We have an audience today, so there'll be questions from the audience, and I'll proceed to answer them. So, we ready for the first question?
Okay, great. So, first of all, I want to know how you know that you're delivering standard tech.
Well, you have to define standard tech.
Okay.
To answer your question is, when people ask me that question, I show them the exact bulletins that they will be run on, the exact tapes or whatever we're doing. Then also show them the date and who created it, or was it put together by RTC, or was it put together by David Mayo? Those we don't do. So if it says LRH 1978 or under that, 1977, 75, we're doing those things. When people come to me, they're not getting my version of the particular level, they're getting LRH's version.
Okay.
And you talk to people in the free zone, and there's a lot of people who say, I'm doing standard tech. And they're doing it out of the culture and out of the training that they got their training in. So in other words, somebody did their training in the year 2000, they're going to think that's standard tech because that's the way they were trained. And but
so
it
that brings, yeah, I know that brings up a point. So, where did you get your training? What is your background? How far did you get trained in?
Well, I got trained in American Setting Organization. Did the briefing course twice.
When was that? What year was
1971, 72, at Temple Street in Los Angeles.
Temple Street.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when I got out of the church, I didn't stop my training. I continued my training by finding people who were trained by LRH or people that were trained by when LRH was around. So like I found a class 7 auditor who was trained by LRH, and she taught me how to do power processing. I found somebody who was trained to do knots under the LRH orgs, and they trained me how to do that. So everything I do, I got trained by someone who was trained by LRH or in the on flag or something like that. I didn't just get it off the internet.
Right.
A lot of people just get things off the internet and say, you know, I'm so and so. And what you should ask for is not only certificates, but also who trained you, and how did you get trained. See? Also, when I got trained in the free zone, I did internships under these people. I audited under them. I just didn't get it off the internet or hey, give me some of the processes and check me out and I'll audit it and something like that.
So that brings up, how long have you been doing this? How long have you been auditing?
I started auditing in 1969. I've been auditing for 40 years. 20 years in the church and 20 years or more out of the church. So it's a long time. I think I'm the only one that's been constantly auditing as a profession for 40 years, longer than anybody that I know of in the field or in the church.
So is this your only profession?
It's the only thing I do, 24/7, 7 days a week, and I don't sell real estate. I don't do anything else. You know, some people in the free zone do this as a hobby. They get off the internet and they audit, or they CS part-time, or they audit part-time, or they do this, they do that. And that's all fine. I'm not against that.
Right.
I'm just, you know, trying to get people to differentiate between someone who is at it full-time.
And so it seems like you deliver all the services. What services do you deliver?
Well, all of them. You name it. And it's not that also that I deliver all things on the bridge, because I've done 3 bridges. I've done the original bridge up to OT7, and I've done the RTC bridge up to OT8, and then I've done the Captain Bill bridge up to OT17, right? So it's not that I've been trained or I got some stuff out of the internet to audit. I actually got the auditing myself. I actually got the results myself. So I'm totally confident when I go in and do sessions. It's not that, oh, let's try this. You know, oh, does this indicate? Oh, it doesn't indicate. Well, maybe you shouldn't do it. That kind of, and there, people do that in the field. There are some people who are complaining about the squirrel altar tech in the Church of Scientology, but there's a lot of that too in the free zone. So you just don't go out willy-nilly and find somebody. Mm-hmm. You got to find somebody who knows what they're doing and has done it themselves, has gotten the results themselves. All the original OT levels, I've gotten all the in phenomena, all the EPs on that, all the levels on the RTC bridge. I got all those, you know, and that sort of thing.
So you're saying you've done 3 different bridges. Can you clarify that? You said you did the RTC bridge, and now you don't deliver that. Why? Is there any reasons behind why you chose to do certain services than others?
Well, when I first got out of the bridge, like everybody, when I first got out of the church, like everyone else, in 1990, I was told that this was Hubbard's bridge and Hubbard's alterations and Hubbard's. And so when I first got out, I started doing the RTC bridge, and I, of course, got the RTC bridge myself. But after doing the RTC bridge and comparing both bridges, I could see that this bridge, the RTC bridge, was an offshoot. It didn't really make OTs. It convinced you that you were an OT or you were clear, but deep down, people didn't feel that way, and they weren't operating that way. They had a bunch of HE&R, human emotion and reaction. They couldn't even get their life together, and that wasn't the kind of OTs that the original bridge did, the 1975 bridge that Hubbard put together. And so I started comparing these. And so as the years went by, we started dropping everything. Once we started to discover who made the changes, why they made the changes, what was their motivation, and we just started dropping the RTC bridge to a point where it wasn't valid anymore. I mean, it was like, why should we deliver a squirrel bridge? And the irony is the group that was calling everybody a squirrel were themselves the biggest squirrel, you know. And that's the irony of it.
Okay,
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's not answered my question. Let me see. In your recent video, you said your main product or your main stat was to making OTs. How are you going about doing that, or where do you stand on that?
That's my personal stat.
Yeah,
I like to make OTs. Operating thetans, people who are more cause over the matter, energy, space, and time, right? What is my stat? I think we're in normal operating. You know, people come in and they do the original OT levels and stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't give out numbers.
Right. Okay, so, no, that's fine. I'm just, just finding out a little more about the purpose of the free zone. You know, some people say is it to unite a group, making it, have one purpose, or what actually is the free zone? If people want to get more into it and maybe create their own group, I don't know, where do we stand, where do you stand on that?
Well, the free zone are people who left the church.
Yeah.
And they're still doing and practicing Scientology outside the church. Under David Miscavige, they are told that they cannot operate or do Scientology outside the church. It's illegal. They'll be thrown in jail. This is all lies. This is all ways to trap people and keep them herded in the church. It's sort of like a theta trap now in the church. No, the purpose of pardon?
Keep them in fear.
Yeah, in fear, so like they won't operate or they won't practice Scientology outside the church. When actually Scientology and Dianetics was made for the man in the street, for everybody.